Welcome back to another Movies with Andy. Today's movie is Nobody 2.
You guys having fun at the convention?
But we haven't seen you in months.
Nobody 2 brings back Bob Odenkirk as Hutch. He's your typical suburban dad who also happens to be a badass assassin. But he's trying so hard not to be that anymore and just be a dad, but they do not leave him alone. So this movie gets right into the action with showing us that he's still a suburban dad, but he still does some assassin work on the side. But him and his family have finally had it and they need a vacation. But of course, trouble always finds his way to Hutch. So let me start off with things that I liked from this film. So this movie starts off right away with catching us up to what these characters have been up to since the last film. What I liked about this film is that they got into the action right away. They just set the tone for what we're in for the rest of the movie. Hey, and shout out Bob Odenkirk for kicking some ass in this film. He just did such an amazing job, especially with the one-take action scenes. All the cameraman did was pull in and then pull out of the action, just letting us see everything happen right in front of us. And they actually did that a couple of times, so shout out to the actors, the stuntmen, and the choreographers, because I know a lot of planning went into that. And kind of staying with the action, shout out to the director and the cameraman for making every action scene more immersive. Not only did they do some one takes, but they actually got right into the action right in the face of some of the actors, which us as the audience got to feel a lot of those punches thrown at us. Also, it is funny to say that Nobody 2 felt like 3 different movies. It felt like a vacation movie because they're going on a road trip to this certain theme park. It felt like John Wick because he's such a badass assassin. And the ending felt a lot like a Home Alone movie because they just know that the bad guys are on their way to this specific area, so they had to rig this place up to blow, some guns over here, some knives over here. So it just felt like an adult Home Alone movie. I also like that there was a couple of characters that I thought they were going to be trouble throughout the film, but they were the complete opposite, and I really like that twist in there. Also, it was pretty cool to see some changes in the son's character from the first film. Because like I said, Hutch is a father, so he's also trying to parent his kids and tell them not to be violent while he's beating people up right in front of them. So that was just a fun take on the dad aspect of this movie. And also shout out to RZA, he's just such a badass in this film. And that was some things that I didn't really like. Honestly, I feel like the worst part of this film might have been its antagonist. They just built him up to be a very scary individual throughout the whole film, with no real big payoff at the end. And also with going off of the antagonist, I feel like there were some characters that they were building up to be very big in the climax. And then again, they were kind of just done with before the end. So now would I watch this movie in the theaters again? Yes, I completely would. I feel like you know what kind of movie you're going into when you go watch this sort of action film. It's like a one-man army type of film that has some friends to help him out, but it's mostly him taking everybody out. But this movie just gets right into the action. Of course, there is dialogue and story building throughout, but we're just there to see Bob Odenkirk kick some ass. And that's exactly what it did throughout the film. If you saw this movie, I would love to hear what you have to say about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie reviews every week.